Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about that. Welcome back to the show. As you can see from the title down below, I'm going to talk a little bit about Modern Necessities, a professional edition by the Scrying Dutchman. I got this in the mail just a little while ago from the Kickstarter that he successfully ran through, and believe it or not, there's a whole bunch of other books from the Kickstarter that have yet to hit my hands. So I'm going to go over them as they come in. But this one right here is about 160 some odd pages, hardcover. Always get the hardcovers when you can. That's the way I roll. This is a modern role-playing game with some twists based on the old school essential rules, which I'm not super familiar with, but I have read them, and not necessarily my cup of tea when it comes to fantasy role-playing. But what our friend Victor here did was made a game similar to games like Shadowrun and things like that, where you've got a modern setting, but there may be orcs and elves and dwarves and things like that in your game, but it's, you know, more or less Earth, but in a modern setting with a lot of gunplay, things like that, and a lot of new character professions, etc. And I'm going to go through these things, starting with the things I like, and then I'll end off with the things I'm not super thrilled about. But for the most part, I am glad I got this. It does seem like it would be a very fun game. I don't know how long a campaign could last, because it is slightly lethal. Not as lethal as Traveler or Call of Cthulhu, but it definitely has a steep learning curve, or survival curve, maybe you want to put it. But I'm going to start off with the character professions that you can play: the crook, the detective, the exorcist, the face, the heavy gunner, the hired killer, the martial artist, the medic, the ninja, the psychonaut, the sapper, the scout, the secret agent, sniper, soldier, survivalist, tech expert, treasure hunter, vigilante, and wheelman. All of these are very self-explanatory. If you need more details, we can talk about it elsewhere. But for the most part, you're looking at a class-based system, 6 stats, very old school D&D type of thing. Everything you need for the character is on a couple of pages. There's a lot of optional rules. Most characters run the gamut between the I don't remember if D4s were some of the characters, like hit points, but a lot of D6s, D8s, maybe some D10s. Your saving throws are there, your skill progressions, your XP, your hit dice, and your THAC0, for those of you familiar with that old term. And the special abilities that you get, the abilities you get, everything like that is all really nicely laid out for all of these great character classes. Some very interesting new character classes, besides your usual hired killer, martial art, detective, criminal. There's the sapper, the medic, the ninja. I would have gone a little bit more in detail with the ninja, but I went through the whole Oriental Adventures phase. So many of us did, and there was just never enough, especially if you look at the old Dragon magazines. But I'm going off on a tangent. The Psychonaut is your modern day psychic, and I'll go into the psychic and the magic stuff shortly, because that's one of the places that this game really shined, was especially the magic. The modern day spells were just absolutely phenomenal. The secret agent was a lot of fun. The sniper, I play a lot of snipers, as those of you who know me would know. But there's a lot of there's no limits for most of the races, which I think is fine for a game like this. Not a lot in the way of specific treasure for you to find, but there's enough to get you started, to give you an idea of what would be too powerful for you to hand your players. Then there's the firearm and weapons section. Everything's nicely laid out. Since I'm here, the one thing I disagree with Victor and a lot of other game designers is creating damage based on the size of the gun, but not the actual caliber. I personally believe that calibers dictate how much damage it would do, and the difference between a 22 submachine gun and a 45 caliber submachine gun is very different. And I would just, to simplify things, I would have just made a chart for damage based on caliber, maybe even subdivided by, you know, actual weapon, because sometimes that makes a difference with the stopping power and velocities and things like that. But that's just me. That's how I would do that. But there's a huge section of all the weaponry you could possibly want to run in a game such as this. Then there's the modifications. There's also a nice little section here on racial specific, the difference between a dwarf firearm and an orc firearm, as well as firearms for the 3 different alignments: lawful, chaotic, and neutral. The armor section is just fine. Maybe the prices are kind of weird because I'm not sure exactly what the monetary system is. A stab-proof vest at a cost of 10 versus a plate carrier at 200. I don't know what the, like I said, what the coin system is. If it's gold, then okay, that works. Also, a lot of equipment in here. Just one of the most comprehensive equipment sections. A lot of other game designers would be well advised to take a look at this and really get, you know, more equipment. A game like this, humans are tool users, and that's what we do. We use and we make these gadgets to make up for the lack of claws and fangs and the ability to camouflage ourselves like chameleons and things like that. Then there's, like I said, the magic weapons section and other magic items, the vehicle list, another comprehensive section on all kinds of vehicles. I would have put in a section for animals, dogs, cats, horses, things like that. My favorite part was easily the Technomancy spell list. While there's not a lot of them, and they only go up to 6th level, there's a spell, finger gun, your magic missile. I thought that was hysterical. Ballistic protection, data wipe. You touch something and the data's gone. A lot of emphasis on our modern technology and computers and cell phones and things like that, and a lot of spells that mimic or affect those kinds of gadgets, which I think this list of spells should be in like a whole bunch of other games out there that didn't quite do that. Magic radio, nitro burst for your vehicle, alter data, race data, backdoor, blast protection, suppress alarms. Just a few of the ones that I'm coming across that I really enjoyed. Living toolkit, where you meld tools into your body and then you can pull them out later. I thought that was a great one. Universal translator. You know, we already have the gadget in our phone, but now you can do things like that. Wire transfers, which is actually with Bitcoin. I thought that was really clever. All the way up to supercomputer, where you can magically create a supercomputer. Like I said, the magic section, just absolutely one of the places this book shines the most. All of the psionics are everything you'd kind of expect. It's only like 3 pages. I would have gone in depth a little bit more, considering how much was put into the spells. Then the NPC section, which really helped me understand how this system works. To give you an example, your average thug having a half a hit dice or 2 hit points. If you think about a person only having 2 hit points, and yet there's still a criminal or a thug, gives you a really strong idea of how powerful the adversaries are, and how much more powerful the characters are, until you start getting, you know, above like 1st and 2nd level bad guys. Even the hitman at 3 hit dice with 13 hit points still gives you an idea of how lethal this game is, and what he's shooting for when it comes to your adversaries and what the characters should be like and how much better or worse they might be than some of these average NPCs you can come across. A veteran soldier, again, 3 hit dice, 13 hit points, armor class 4 or 15, depending on which system you use. THAC0 of 17. And mind you, all of the NPCs have their armor class, hit dice, attacks, common weapons, THAC0, movement, saving throws are all here, as well as their morale, their alignment, how many XP they're worth, which is a big one. Also allows you as a GM to, plot how far the party might, advance during a particular game. If you want to keep it low, slow advancement, you keep throwing, mooks and low-level adversaries at them. If you want to give them a challenge, you look, a couple of, 250-point adversaries, or, maybe the party's got to go up against a 750 XP adversary at the end. Still, they're not going to go up a level, but you get where I'm going with that. Even some of the good guys like the detective, again, 2 hit dice, 9 hit point, a bodyguard, 3 hit dice, 13 hit points, bounty hunter, 3 hit dice, 13 hit points. But you see how that works. Also robots and a few monsters, but I really would have put a lot more monsters, a lot more animals. Robots, those most people can kind of, most GMs anyways, can figure that out and advance that and extrapolate from there. And one of the last sections in the book is extra rules, optional rules, a really nice section on loot tables, what they would be carrying, different adversaries, what kind of, very, very similar to the old treasure tables in the monster manual, but a little bit more in depth, and some random tables as well for treasure and sub tables like that. Plot hooks, I want to run all of these plot hooks. I want to be in the campaign that hits like every one of these. I'm not going to go into them because I think you should buy the book to get some of these ideas, because they were just like, when I was reading them, like, if I can't get in a game that uses these plot hooks, then I'm going to make a game, whether it's Traveler or something else, and use all of them. There's a good, like, almost 24 different plot hooks, and every one of them is worthy of an adventure, if not a whole campaign. And then there's the last part of it is Assault on Blackfang Tower. I actually did not read this because I never read the modules, because I'm always hoping that I get to actually play in one of them. A lot of artwork toward the end dealing with that module, so it doesn't really spoil anything for me, maps and such. Now, I already went over one thing I didn't like, which was the ammunition thing. I've talked about that before. The artwork, it's very reminiscent of the 80s, all black and white, which I normally love, but some of the images were they just didn't grab me, and I wasn't really impressed as I have been with some other books. The other thing I didn't like about this was the fact that it took me so long to get it. Not Victor's problem, nothing he had to do with it, but Drive-Thru was having some big issues getting me my book and taking my money, which, I'm throwing money at you, take my money. What's the problem? I believe that's been taken care of, but if you guys have any issues, just keep hitting up Drive-Thru until they fix that issue. The other thing is, it's about 160 pages, a little bit more in the way of monsters and spells and psionics, things like that. I'm certain they're going to show up in greater detail in the other books in this Kickstarter, which hopefully will start showing up, because I'm really looking forward to adding another Western game to my collection, as well as the other books in the Kickstarter, and I think there's like 6 of them, but they're the smaller old school essentials style hardbacks, so they'll fit on your shelf with your old school essentials system. But other than that, I'm really glad I got this. I really like it, and I think this could be a game I could actually run. It's so simple. and down to earth, and full of a lot of Victor's own personal touches and charm. So if you aren't subscribed to the Scrying Dutchman, go do that first. Then go find the link to buy his books, or find him on Discord, or hit him up in the chat in one of his videos, and find out how you can add this to your collection. If you want to run a modern, contemporary, guns blazing, two-fisted action kind of game with high rewards and high consequences, this could be the game for you. Hopefully Victor will run one of these games and I can get into it. Hint, hint. If not, maybe I'll run one later on down the road when I get the other books in the collection for it. But that's what I got, Victor. You want to discuss any of the things we talked about and clarify any of the issues, or maybe come on the show and we can talk about this book, just you and me, so we can get this out on everybody's shelves. Because so far, the stuff I've reviewed this year, I know it's only February, this one's way at the top of the list. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Now I just got to find a way to get it autographed, because I don't know that I want to let it out of my hands. So next time you're in the States, let me know and we'll work something out, because I'm an autograph hound at heart. So, folks, that's what I got for you tonight. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Go out and get some gaming in. Get a chance, play this one, because I sure as hell would play this in a heartbeat. Just scheduling it would be kind of rough because I'm booked solid right now. But anyways, like I said, have a great weekend. Love you guys. And until next time, Tree says, happy trails.